I'd like Mr. Onoja to quickly respond to your comment about the CCT not being a court that punishes anyone. Mr. Onoja, how do you respond to that one?
The question isn't a question of whether or not the CCT has the ability to punish anybody. The question is, did the CCT try him over what the EFCC is seeking to investigate and then prosecute him? The answer is yes. And the answer is simple. And if you read the 18 count charges that were filed against the President of the Senate at the time, you would see that in charges 7, 8, and 9, they questioned whether or not the properties were purchased with the proceeds of crime. In fact, the charges quite specifically said that, one, the properties were purchased with monies that did not logically come from his sources of income, being salaries, being emoluments, and whatever have you that were paid to him by government. Two, they questioned whether indeed or not these properties were purchased by proceeds from the sale of rice and sugar. Went so far as to saying that it was false that the properties were purchased by proceeds from the sale of rice and sugar. Now, my question is this. If you have questioned the purchase, the source of income, if you've questioned the veracity of his statements about his source of income, and you've taken him to the CCT, to the Court of Appeal, and then to the Supreme Court, and at each point, the verdict was discharged and acquitted, not guilty, how then can you purport to reinvestigate the self-same sources of income, funding, sources of income and funding with which he bought the very same properties? That is prohibited by Section 36, subsection 9 of our Constitution. And the reason is not far-fetched.
Mr. Onoja, this is not the first time politically exposed persons would be tried and tried and tried over time. So what makes this different? I would say two things. One, if it was done before and it was wrong, should it be done again? Really? Are we supposed to use that as a judgment, as a justification? Oh, it was done in the past, so let's do it again. I don't understand that. One. Two, I repeat it. It's not even, the difference, the substantial difference here is this. It's not even as if EFCC has anything to go by. By the letters written to the Clerk of the National Assembly, the CNA of the National Assembly, by the letters written to the Kwara State government, asking, give us all your paperwork relating to the awards of contracts, the payments to Dr. Saraki, the payments of salaries and all that, approvals for payments and everything, you would see something very simple. The EFCC doesn't have anything upon which it is basing its allegations or upon which it is taking these actions. They want to fish. They're basically fishing. Because if they had any evidence, we would have seen it. They don't have any. And so they are going to go and look for any. We should not be in a country, we should not be in a society where people are constantly put under the fear that, oh, you know what, I'm going to go and look for a wrongdoing because you're a real or perceived political enemy. That, it makes no logical sense. It makes no legal sense. And I'm a lawyer as well. I'll quickly correct my learned friend, Sanusi. The EFCC doesn't have the power to arbitrarily seize your property. Section 34 of the EFCC Act says that the EFCC has to go to court and obtain an order before it can seize or close or seal up any property. The Act even makes it easy for the EFCC. It says that order can be obtained ex parte without the requirement or attendance of the other party. But does the EFCC do that in all its cases? The answer to that is no. Did the EFCC do that in this case involving Dr. Saraki at the moment? The answer to that is no, which is the reason why a court has given an order restraining the EFCC, the DSS, and any other government prosecution agencies from investigating or prosecuting Dr. Saraki until it determines a suit relating to the violation of Dr. Saraki's fundamental rights, Which brings me to another explanation.
Let's bring in Mr. Musa here.
Issues about Justice Onogen. Excuse me, can I finish? When we raised issues about Justice Onogen, like my friend Sunusi has said, he said, we jumped into the arena. Guess what? A court has found that his rights were indeed violated in the manner in which he was removed from office. A court has found that. The Court of Appeal has found that the order compelling his removal from office was a violation of his fundamental rights, simply because he was not given any fair hearing. So are we not right? Are we not right? Now, relating to statements that the PDP issues regarding insecurity, I was even just checking a few seconds ago one of the statements issued by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar yesterday, where he commiserated with the people of Katsina State over fresh killings there and called on President Muhammad Buhari to do his job, which is his first primary job, which is the protection of the lives and the people of lives and properties of the people of Nigeria. Now, we must say something. The PDP has repeatedly asked the president to do his job. We have never accused the APC of funding or of sponsoring these acts of terror. Instead, what we have done is we have said we know who our enemies are. Our enemies are the people who seek to violate our constitutional rights and freedoms and to impeach on our territorial integrity. President Muhammad Buhari is not our enemy. We know that, and so we won't accuse him of being our enemy. Instead, what we will do is ask President Muhammad Buhari to do his job. This is a far cry from what the APC did pre-2015, and I'll give you a simple example. The governor of Kaduna State.
I would have to interrupt you. Let's have Mr. Musa weigh in on all of this. Mr. Musa, your response.
You see, let me say that my friend, first of all, need to be sincere in his approach to this issue. The duty of the EFCC, any investigative agency, is to go and look for evidence that it will prosecute you. That is why it is being sustained with the government funds. That is why it is an investigative body. It is the court that will not go and fish for evidence. So by doing its work, you cannot accuse it of saying that if it has an evidence, it will just go to court. So it has to carry out an investigation for it to have a concrete evidence to take Saraki to court. I can't see anything there. And yes, on the issue of saying that whether they have a court order or not, I don't know. The onus is on them because there is a presumption of regularity on an act of public official. So I know, to the best of my knowledge, and I have had opportunity to intervene on behalf of my client in EFCC. I have never seen a case where they went after properties of anybody without a court order, which normally it is obtained ex parte. And an order that is obtained ex parte, they may not be aware of it. So I don't know where he got it. In any way, the onus is on him to prove that there was no order by a court of law for them to go after the properties of Mr. Saraki that they have taken. And he has also agreed with me. He has not debunked the fact that Code of Conduct Tribunal is a specialized court to try quasi-criminal issue. Stricto sensu, it doesn't convict for any crime. What it does is to say that you have committed, you have contravened your code of conduct for public officer, therefore you are guilty. And that does not take away the responsibility, or that does not oust the jurisdiction of the regular court to try person for the crimes he committed in the course of breaching of his public code of conduct for public officers. So these are clear things that we have to see. And like he said, we have not taken them as enemies, some of them anyway, because some of them are enemies of this country. People who have squandered the money that is meant to secure the people of this country certainly are enemies of this country. People that decided to fund political campaign with the money that is meant to secure the people of this country, certainly those people are enemies of this country, and enemies to people like Onoja who are still hanging on in association with them in PDP. So certainly, And they cannot accuse, of course, they cannot even accuse APC or any member of APC of funding things like Boko Haram or any terror group, because we don't have such people. But we have, when we said prior to 2015, that indirectly the PDP government was supporting the terror activities, it has come to pass. Because we have seen how billions of naira that ought to be used to protect this country were siphoned and used for political purpose. And it was diverted to private individuals. So those are things that really encourage the growth of terror to where it is, and to where, and other security checks that, problem that we have in this country. It is squarely a problem that was posed on us by the PDP, and we will continue to say that. Yet, that does not mean we will not continue, this government will not continue to do what it will do to ensure that this problem are brought under our control. But also on the issue of Justice Onohen, and it is not true, what they are saying. In the 4 appeals filed by Justice Onohen, he did not succeed in any one of them.
Mr. Onoja, you have just about 1 minute each to tell Nigerians the way forward between government and the opposition. How do we move forward from here? Beginning with you, Mr. Onoja, we'll end with you, Mr. Musa. Mr. Onoja.
The way forward is very clear, and it has been clear since 2015. We need to have a government that does its job. This government is failing to do its job. It's very straightforward. It is failing to secure the lives of Nigerians and their properties. It is failing to ensure that we have the sort of economic success that we require to prosper as a people. It is failing to even combat on its biggest shout out. It's failing to combat corruption. On a daily basis, the Nigerian government fails each and every one of us, including Mr. Musa. And asking that the Nigerian government does its job is not a threat to democracy. It's not a threat to our national security. Instead, it is what we are required to do as the opposition. We will continue to do that job respectfully and responsibly, like we always have. Anybody who says that the PDP has been irresponsible needs to take into consideration the responsibility of the APC pre-2015, when it went so far as accusing the president, the then president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, of funding Boko Haram. It wasn't an indirect accusation, it was a very direct accusation that was leveled against former President Goodluck Jonathan, the Christian Association of Nigeria, and then certain other people. We will not go down to that level of irresponsibility.
All right, thank you, Mr. Onoja.
We will not go down and we will not play that sort of politics.
Thank you.
What the PDP has
Mr. Onoja, thank you. Mr. Musa,
doing.
it's your turn now. The way forward.
Yes, the way forward is for PDP and its presidential candidate to be responsible, to know that they have a higher calling than just contesting for an office. Trying to bring judiciary into disrepute and trying to, because they know their case is going nowhere. They're trying to say that the judiciary, to blackmail the judiciary because they have a bad case is quite low. Always trying to be happy with what is happening to calamities when it befell on other people because they are not in government. That is quite irresponsible. Our government, the government of President Muhammad Buhari, will continue to provide the leadership that it has been providing, improving on the security of the country, curbing corruption, which was institutionalized by the 16 years of the PDP, ensuring that the economy is put in the right shape so that people can get jobs to be done. These are things that we are committed to do and will continue to do, and it is because the people have appreciated what we have done in the last 4 years that they decided to give the APC another mandate of the next 4 years. And in the next 4 years, certainly we will continue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musa. Thank you very much. Sunusi Musa, member of the APC, and Lawrence Onoja, member of the PDP. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts with us this morning.